Diabolical narcissism is the Holocaust. What I want to talk to you about is when you had an encounter with someone who has dealt with you like this, like off top, from the jump. You know what I'm saying? They was running game. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how real you kept it, right? Con artists, right? Okay. The reason I made this video is I want to talk to you about in the psychological realm of dealing with this illness. People have like their remedies for it. The main remedy people will advise you or counsel you is to have no contact once you realize you're dealing with a cold-blooded narcissist, right? I had knowledge of treachery, evil, and betrayal. You know what I'm saying? I knew about it. But once you experience it personally up close, I no longer am talking about something I know. I have a very deep level of understanding where it came to my knowledge that one of my loved ones who had went through a diabolical narcissist experience was still in contact with this evil person to the point of, it being cordial or dare I say friendly. I mean, someone from the outside looking in may consider them not even enemies or anything. See, this is the opposite of following the rule of no contact. I want to tell you something about that. And I want to tell you about the Holocaust. A diabolical narcissist is the Holocaust. You remember in World War I, World War II, the Germans were called Nazis, and they put people who were Jewish through a Holocaust. They had concentration camps at Auschwitz and various other places where they were extremely cruel and evil to an entire segment of society, to the extreme. When the war was over, the people who were Nazis were all convicted of crimes against humanity. They had war tribunals in Nuremberg and The Hague and the Netherlands and where else. And universally, the verdict was automatic death for any Nazi. Universally, it was torture, life imprisonment, total forfeiture of your entire estate, fortunes, everything you have, total disgrace of your name and your entire family, run out of town on a rail and hung ASAP. That's what the entire world knew was the correct punishment for a Nazi. Okay, now, all the Nazis did not get caught. A whole bunch of them fled. They went on the run. They're fugitives from the law. Some of them still alive, right? Okay, now imagine the Jew. That's you. You're the person who was a victim or in a situationship with a narcissist. The narcissist is the Nazi. Total lack of empathy with anything about you and your being and your family. Zero. Just no remorse, right? That's the narcissist. That's a Nazi. Now, the Nazis, some of those are still alive, right? But you had people who survived the Holocaust. You have some of those Jews who are still alive. Now, let's say it's 50, 60, 70 years later. Let me tell you how serious no contact is. If a Jew who ain't even studying the Nazi, went on about his life, he's just in a bank trying to cash a check, right? He just he done got over his trauma. He done healed from it, even though they destroyed his entire town, killed his whole family, put him through incredible abuse and imprisonment. He survived that though, right? It's 50 years later, he's living his life. He's just at the bank trying to cash his whatever he's doing in the bank. Now, imagine one of those Nazis who was on the run. That's the narcissist. Imagine they're in that bank and they recognize that's a Holocaust survivor. Let me tell you how serious no contact is. Why are you trying to accept Hoovers and try to rekindle friendship or deal with the person who put you through this evil as if they're a human being or whatever? Let me tell you what would happen. If a Nazi 50 years later, the Nazi could have went on to be the nicest person in the town. They could have orphanages. They could feed little kittens. They could rescue babies. They're the best person anyone's ever seen in the last 60 years. Doesn't matter. If that Nazi who escaped justice for what they did was in that bank and saw that Jew who ain't even studying them, just standing in line, let me tell you how serious no contact is. Do you know that that Nazi immediately would murder 3 innocent people ASAP off top to get out that bank without that Jew knowing that they're in their vicinity? They would kill 3 people and jump out a 3rd-story window and break their leg, limp up the street, pull out a pistol, carjack an innocent old lady, pistol whip her, and take the local cops on a high-speed chase, endangering everybody around them, just to get away from that Jew who ain't even studying them, to become aware that they are even in their vicinity, in their town, in their state. If possible, they'd rather be on a different continent. They kill 3 people off top and jump out a goddamn window so that they would have no contact with that Jew who's sitting over there in peace, not even studying them. Because they know what they did was so evil and they escaped the proper punishment for it. They know immediately they deserve to be killed. Everything they have taken, their entire name and their entire family disgraced, thrown in a cell the rest of their life and tortured to death. And let me tell you something. That's what the Nazi know. So dig that. So listen, when I hear a story about my partner, back trying to be cool with a person that put them through something like that, I'm like, let me tell you something. Number one, when you do that, you already betrayed your good senses off top the first time, but you didn't know. Bet we're gonna let you slide with that. They was wrong. But for you to get anywhere near them again in any type of trust or realness at all, now you are betraying your own self. Number one. Number two, you are also enabling this narcissist because, hey, you letting them off the hook mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it must not have been that bad. You know what I mean? They recovered. They still kicking it with me because they know they killed 3 people to get away from you. But here you are acting like they're not really that bad. And then what that does is, hell, they might continue to do some more evil and treachery. And those 2 things, so not only have you now become your own enemy, betraying yourself, but now you are enabling this evil to continue. But those are disgusting, but that ain't even your worst problem. Your worst problem is the reason they are soundly hunted and rejected as having any humanity and are supposed to be killed ASAP is because of justice, right? Because of God, right? Because of karma, right? Because of the universe, because you reap what you sow, because of the law. I mean, the Jew can have no ill will in their heart towards them. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter. For just the simple fact they see a fugitive from justice, a Nazi, and you didn't report it, then now actually you're aiding and abetting. So now, you know what I'm saying? You did. You got to have no contact with them. No friendly ties, no business dealings, no cordiality with this evil being is so important. Understand me? Can you dig that? It ain't about what you want. You were a victim. You healed from it. You moved on about your business. Now it's time to let the end be the end. Okay.